everybody. Thanks for joining Real Estate with Kate. I'm going to try and get this video done while Everett's taking his afternoon nap, although he did just open his eyes when I started talking, so we'll see how this rolls. Okay, so I've gotten a lot of good responses from just my post about being a first-time homebuyer and first-time homebuyer bootcamp. There's a lot of interest out there, and I've got a lot of first-time homebuyers right now. They seem to come kind of before tax season and stuff like that. A lot of people are, kind of waiting on their tax return to get that last little bit of money for their down payment. So I wanted to this month, I'm doing a camp series. So if you want to follow every Thursday, I'm going to have a topic. There's also an email strategy that you guys can also be a part of. If you tell me what your email is, you can either text me or you can drop it to me in the comments, and I will send those emails to you daily. But you can always check my social media for some great tips and tricks. So thanks for joining Real Estate with Kate this week. I want to talk a little bit about home ownership and house hunting. If it's been on your mind and you really don't know where to start, here is the brief, short, and skinny of it. I'm going to share the first steps of the home buying process and tell you how I set my clients up for success. So make sure that you stick around and take some notes if you're not going to get my emails that kind of are follow-up to this. So step one is my homeowner consultation. So before you start house hunting, I want to sit down with you at your favorite coffee shop, in my office, at your apartment, whatever is comfortable for you, but I want to get to know you and I want to get to know what you're looking for. So first we talk about the home journey, the home buying journey. I walk you through the home buying steps and I talk super fast, so I don't expect you to memorize all of them and know exactly what you're doing. That's why I'm here. I'm here to guide you through the entire process. So I don't want you to feel like you're going to be alone at any given time. The second thing is if you haven't been pre-approved, I give you a list of people who I think and I've worked with are really great with first-time home buyers. You walk through that process. Getting pre-approved and pre-qualified is extremely important to the home buying process. You don't know what you can afford until you actually talk to a lender who can give you the dollars to do it. Plus, when I go and show you a house, if you wanted to put an offer, 99% of the time, the listing agent is going to ask for your pre-approval letter. So I want to be able to have that on hand so I can get it to them so your offer is actually considered as a serious buyer. A lot of sellers are not going to see you as a serious buyer unless you have your finances in order. So then we go over the buyer questionnaire. And this is where I talk about your must-haves and the absolute deal breakers that are not going to be something. So if you want a pool and it doesn't have a pool that's a deal breaker, we won't look at houses that don't have pools. It's just that simple. But it also asks, it's not just about me asking you questions and what you want in a house. Do you want a 3-2? Do you want a garage? Do you want brick? Do you want stone? It's not just about that. It's a time for you to ask me questions. When you work with a real estate agent, just know that's a two-way street. You don't have to just stick with somebody because your friend referred or your mom referred or your aunt referred or you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. You need to work with somebody that you get along with. So you need to ask certain questions. What's your process like? How are you going to communicate with me? How often can we go see houses? How available are you to see houses? Some people, if they have 10 and 20 buyers, they might not have the time that you need, especially if you have a restrictive schedule. I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm not saying that they do. So that's something that you definitely want to be aware of in the forefront so you don't feel like you're being shoved to the side or they're not doing something that you need as a buyer. And then home buyer resources. So a couple of things that I go over in the home consultation when we're first chatting is things like, do you know that you're going to need homeowners insurance and do you know who to speak to? Home inspectors, and I talk about option period, and that's your period to back out. I can talk about roofing. I can talk about anything that you might need to get you settled in your current deal in your home, things like that. So that's step one. So step one is definitely let's do your buyer consultation. So if you've already talked to a lender, but you don't have a real estate agent that you're working with, I would love to sit down and talk to you a little bit more. This is kind of my process. I go into a lot more detail when I sit down and I actually have that buyer consultation. So I would love to be able to kind of figure out a little bit more about you, about what you're looking for, and I want you to know about me. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, I totally get it. I totally get it. That's why I've created this whole month to be my home buyer series. That's why I have a guide that I can email to you. And that's why I also have a 5-day series that I can email to you every day to kind of give you another dive in, deep look into a certain aspect of a sale. So when you feel like you're, floating out in the middle of the ocean with just like a buoy raft and you don't hear the helicopter coming for you, that's when your real estate agent should really be there by your side. And I'm happy to be that person. The other thing that you want to think about is if you are one of my favorite type people who are Dave Ramsey people, do you have an emergency fund? Do you know what emergency funds are? You should always have an emergency fund. When you go into a house, it's not just the mortgage. A lot of people just think it's my mortgage, I need to pay this. And I understand that. You do need to know where you need to be at mortgage-wise. But the other thing that you need to consider is you have utilities. What if your HVAC goes out? Or what if your water heater goes out? Or anything that could be extra in the house. You need to have those emergency funds set aside. That's something to consider when you're saving for your first home purchase. Do you know what your credit score is? A lot of people are going to defer to things like Credit Karma or something like that. They're not the best resources. Your lender is, and your lender is your friend. And a lot of people are so afraid to talk to a lender, but they're your friend. They can't force you to spend your money. So don't be afraid to go to a lender and ask them what your true credit score is, because I could go into lots of detail about FICO scores and what all that entails. But the short and skinny is that the mortgage world goes by a certain FICO score, and Credit Karma and your CreditWise app and things like that do not go by that. And it's a median score, so it pulls from all 3 credit bureaus. So that's something to consider. And then how long do you think you're going to live in that home? Is it going to be your forever home? Is it going to be something that you're going to stay in for 3 years, 5 years? Are you a high relocation? Are you a military where you're only going to live in that for a few years and then you need to either be able to rent it out or sell it again? And are you going to get your money back? So those are just some things that, we kind of go over. And I share some of this feedback in my guide as well, and questions to ask your real estate agent, the people that you're interviewing. There's also a quiz and some buyer knowledge in there, and a starter kit for when you are ready to jump in. So the most successful home buyer is a prepared home buyer. Part of that is the real estate agent's job to make you prepared. So I just wanted to give you the quick tips. Again, if you want my guide or you want to be included on the emails, please drop your email below, or you can shoot me a text with your email or send me a message, and I will get you on that list and get them started for you. But thanks for tuning in this week's episode of Real Estate with Kate. And if you want to see more fun video topics and follow me, if you can like my page, and then the 3 little dots will ask you if you want to follow my page, please do that. If you're watching this on Instagram or IGTV, just click over to my profile and continue to follow me, and you'll see all sorts of great tips and check my story daily. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. It was our 1 day of winter here in Texas this morning with snow on the ground. So I hope it warms up a little bit for everybody, but I hope y'all have a fantastic day.